Games Workshop didn't have to do this. There are other companies that have much better IP policies that don't fuck up in the same ways, but they chose not to. Instead, they chose violence against their community and their fan creators. Games Workshop, as any Games Workshop fan knows at the moment, just released their new IP policy. This is around fan uses of works, and people are pretty up in arms. We went over that more in depth in a different video, so you can go and check out that video if you would like a full overview of this policy. But just a few specific things I want to touch on here, because Games Workshop didn't have to do this. There are other companies that have much better IP policies that don't fuck up in the same ways. Now, the Games Workshop IP policy does allow for fan fiction, hobby books and magazines, fan artwork, and fan sites. It doesn't allow, so they all have a clause of being non-commercial. But the way it phrases that is, be non-commercial with no money being received or paid. This includes all forms of fundraising activity and generation of any advertising revenue. So we've got that just here. And it also, this is probably the most controversial decision here, has in its infringement section, we have a zero tolerance policy in respect of infringement of our intellectual property rights. This includes fan films and animations. Individuals must not create fan films or animations based on our settings and characters. These are only to be created under license from Games Workshop. Now, this has got a lot of people, quite understandably, in a bit of an uproar. There's a lot of fan films like Astartes or like the Hell's Reach animated series that have got a lot of people into the hobby because people have gone, oh, that's really cool, that's fucking amazing. Those things can't happen organically anymore. There was a bit of argument back and forth. Now, fan films, I reckon, should be treated the same as fan artwork. As a fan film is just a more elaborate fan artwork, really. This compounded with TTS. If the Emperor had a text-to-speech device, a Games Workshop fan animation that could arguably fall under parody protections, deciding to no longer continue. And we'll have a little bit of a look at that in a bit. But yeah, this has caused a lot of a stir. But it's also caused a lot of kind of rabid Games Workshop supporters to say, yeah, they had to do this. They had to take these measures just like this in order to protect their intellectual property. There's no other way they could have done this, and kind of fully throwing their support behind it, saying if they didn't do this, if they weren't this heavy-handed about this, Games Workshop and its games and its settings would cease to be viable and they'd cease producing the games. Guess what? That's false. Let's have a little bit of a look at some other things that some other companies have done that are infinitely fucking better than Games Workshop's approach here. So first up, we've got World of Darkness, or White Wolf, I should say. White Wolf create all of the World of Darkness role-playing games, and there's a few like associated board games and stuff. So things like Vampire the Masquerade, Vampire the Requiem, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Awakening or Mage the Ascension, Changeling the Lost, so on and so forth. They're good role-playing games, but their policy here is top fucking notch. So let's have a quick little read through this and see how different it is to Games Workshop's one. We know that our fans like to support our World of Darkness games and products by expressing themselves creatively and enthusiastically. We encourage and appreciate greatly our fans' dedication, time, energy, and creativity. However, we would also like our fans to respect our rights as the owners and creators of these intellectual properties. The Dark Pack is our program for supporting World of Darkness fan activities while protecting our copyrights and trademarks. You don't need to ask for our permission before creating and sharing most types of content as long as it's non-commercial. Anyone can stream an actual play of Vampire the Masquerade, make and share copies of share cosplays and fan art, run a World of Darkness LARP, or even make and share a short fan film on YouTube. Without asking us first if it's okay. Again, if the content is non-commercial. So, first up, they allow fan films. That's great. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that sounds pretty similar to Games Workshop, except they're just allowing the fan films. Let's get to this next little bit. You can monetize videos on platforms that allow it, such as YouTube, and gather funds through optional subscription services, such as Twitch, Patreon, or Ko-fi, if the World of Darkness content you provide is available for free and for everyone to enjoy. What we ask is that when you advertise or promote your fan content using our intellectual property on websites, social media, posters, flyers, TikTok, Patreon, and similar channels and platforms, you acknowledge our copyrights and trademarks by including a brief legal statement and the Dark Pack logo on your advertising. We understand that presenting and sharing our brand matters to you, and we want to help you do it in a way that will help us promote your content as we expand our community and support efforts and also respect our rights and the brand owner. This is worlds apart from Games Workshop's fucking approach. Games Workshop is stifling the community. It's basically saying any fan content that is complex enough that you require a bit of funding via Patreon, not on. And they're not allowing people to do things like generating YouTube revenue. Again, jumping back to GWs, when they say non-commercial, it's with no money being received or paid. This includes all forms of fundraising activity and the generation of any advertising revenue. World apart. I encourage you to have a bit more of a read through of the Dark Pack, so I'm not going to go through all of it here. It does have a few restrictions, like, you can't sell things commercially, and all of that, but it is a very reasonable intellectual property license. But you might be saying, oh, I don't know, Dark Wolf is a much smaller company, and they just make role-playing games. Is that really comparable to Games Workshop? Okay. Fair enough. I mean, we're still dealing with intellectual property, and we have a international homogenized IP law. So let's have a look at a bit of a larger company. Let's have a look here at Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast, of course, being a subsidiary of Hasbro, one of the largest toy and board game producers on the fucking planet. Wizards of the Coast, who make not only Dungeons and Dragons, the largest and most popular RPG out there, but also Magic the Gathering, the largest and most popular trading card game out there. Let's have a little bit of a look here again. Again, they say that they like people creating and sharing fan content. In short, your use of Wizards IP in your fan content is governed by the same rules you learned on the playground. Share freely, keep it clean, and don't hurt others. This means we ask you follow these rules. One word, free. You can use Wizards IP, except for the restrictions listed on number 3, to make fan content that you share with your community for free. Free means free. You can't require payments, surveys, downloads, subscriptions, or email registration to access your fan content. You can't sell or license your fan content to any third parties for any type of content compensation. And your fan content must be free to others, including Wizards, to view, access, share, and use without paying you anything, obtaining your approval, or giving you credit. You can, however, subsidize your fan content by taking advantage of sponsorships, ad revenue, and donations, as long as it doesn't interfere with the community's access to your fan content. 2, you've got to tell the community that it's unofficial. Makes sense. 3, don't hurt others. So you need to respect other people's IP. If you don't have the rights to use another person's stuff in your fan content, don't. And 4, don't hurt wizards, which is, don't hurt wizards' trademarks or IP or hurt them financially or associate them with, like, anything negative, like Nazism or anything like that. And no bad stuff. We have the right to stop or restrict your use of wizards' IP.
This is democracy
Team of the Goblins.
manifest.
I love your guts too, and thank you for 3 months of subscription. You are fucking fantastic, and you are also my partner. You don't have to do that, but I like that you do. So no bad stuff. So they have the right to stop or restrict your use of wizard IP for any time, at any reason or no reason, including when we think your use is inappropriate, offensive, damaging, or disparaging. We'll make that call in our sole discretion. And practice safe sponsorship. And finally, follow the law of the land. So we've got one pretty sizable and one fucking major company that don't have restrictions against fan films and allow fan creators to generate money via advertising revenue and via things like Patreon. This is really fucking important. And, like, Games Workshop could have followed this well-trodden and proven path, but they chose not to. Instead, they chose violence against their community and their fan creators, and people are fucking pissed. I've seen people saying, that's it, final straw, I'm leaving the hobby. People saying, nope, I'm just going to 3D print and pirate everything I need now. Fuck these guys. And I can understand that reaction. Look, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. I'm still going to get GW stuff, because they make great miniatures, but they have fucked up, and they are going to hurt their own growth as a company because of the decisions that they've made. If you want to have more of a look at either of these IP policies, I'll be putting links to them in the description under this video when it goes up on YouTube. I encourage you to jump in, take a look, and have a think about what could have been. If anyone from Games Workshop, I know it's unlikely, but if anyone from Games Workshop ends up seeing this, I urge you, I fucking implore you to redesign your IP policy to something more like this, to allow the fan creators who support your setting and your company through their own hard work and labor, who bring in untold amounts of money, who bring in like untold amounts of new players and readers and purchasers and general customers into your business, set things up, change this IP policy so that they can be supported, so that they can make a living. I fucking beg you. It's not that big an ask. Just don't be arsehat's about this, Games Workshop. God damn it.